here before you tonight and speak tributes to Dr. Bentley. It's also strange that my words are combined, as half of the room knows me as Antoinette and the other half knows me as Priscilla. So it's good to see you all, family. But the reality is, I wouldn't miss this for the world, even if I am due in 2 weeks. So we're not here for me, we're here for Dr. Bentley. I really want to scrap my notes and think about, I really want to scrap these notes because even as we were sitting at the table, I was just laughing at the comments from Dr. Bentley, because I think Dr. Bentley is one of the funniest persons that I've ever met, and one of the most truth tellers. And sometimes the room doesn't get to hear her, but those that get to sit closely get to hear her comments. So, but it was in 1989 that Dr. Bentley and I first met, and you're probably sitting there doing the math, asking yourself, how old is she? Yes, that was the year I was born. The truth of the matter is, outside of my biological family, there are only a few individuals who have contributed to my formation and development from the time of my birth as much as Dr. Ruth Bentley. I count it a tremendous honor that Dr. Bentley holds this place in my life, and I count it an honor that I get to stand before you all this evening to speak these words. Tracing back as far as my memory will allow, I have witnessed Dr. Bentley faithfully model resilience, intentionality, tenacity, and presence. Narrowing this list down to just these 4 was a task in and of itself, as the list of her virtues is very long. I continuously am inspired by the woman that Dr. Bentley is, and am challenged by her testimony to do more. As much as any individual I know, Dr. Bentley has demonstrated a commitment to diversity and celebrating where we as the African diaspora have come from. I watched her avid commitment to upholding and honoring Black history out many different ways. I can recall her walking to the pulpit with her beautiful, voluptuous silver afro fro at Progressive Beulah Pentecostal Church in the months of December, January, and February to speak to the narrative of her people, educating the young and old of the meaning of Kwanzaa, as well as hearing stories on race from her lived experience in both the North and the South, are just 2 small examples of the evidence I've seen firsthand of this dedication. As an alumna of this institution of higher education, her story has touched me in a very special way. And this is not in my notes, so I'm diverging a little bit, but I just recall her constantly telling me stories of her experience and her lived experience of not even being welcomed into certain dorm rooms or even on campus because of the color of her skin. I wish I could stand before you and say that I fully appreciated Dr. Bentley's presence from a young age. And I wish I could stand before you and say that when I was applying to colleges back in 2007, the days that my mother, who is here tonight, strongly, and I do mean strongly, encouraged me to apply to Wheaton College, that I had the maturity to seek out Wheaton alumni in my inner circle. I did it. Even though and through my immaturity, Dr. Bentley's legacy preceded me and paved the way for my success at college and beyond. It was during my days at Wheaton, however, when dynamics around race at our predominantly white college flared up, and I was caught in the middle. She was there. And I was just reflecting about this, even last week we were just talking about this, but it was 11 years ago that Chapel Tweets took place. And Dr. Bentley was the one that I called. And she created a space to hear me and weep with me. In ways that I didn't know then, she advocated for me. And I know after she learned about Chapel Tweets, she was on the phone with the late Rodney Cisco and President Reagan to identify how to care well for us. And the same love that she showed me 11 years ago, she continues at almost 89 years old to display to the current students of color here at Wheaton College. As been the case throughout my entire lifetime, she was present, supportive, and wise. I think about, I was also a recipient of her scholarship that she awarded when I graduated from high school. She paved the ways in ways that I didn't even see at the moment. In addition to being members of the same church and attending the same school, we shared the experience of having traveled the world to do community engagement work. The thing that most amazes me about Dr. Bentley, after all of the exposure and education and degrees, She serves the city, the great city of Chicago. And I am truly forever grateful to Dr. Bentley's narrative and the impact it has and will continue to have for Christ and his kingdom.